Welcome, everybody, to Star Wars Lethal Alliance for the PSP. Playing a new game now. Got sick of Force Unleashed. My God, what a monotonous game.
Yeah.
It was fun in some parts, but yeah, it just got so repetitive and just button mashy.
Yeah, even just watching it, sometimes it was just like those bosses really are just tons of HP. You just whack away.
Whack-a-mole, dude. All right, well,
Whack away.
This is Lethal Alliance. This is like I said, a PSP game. We are Rihanna. This is Rihanna.
What?
We're a Twi'lek.
Whoa.
Or a Twi'lek.
She got BDSM headgear.
Bidism.
Hold L and R to enter free look mode.
Look, we're trying to find Kyle Katarn, guys.
Kyle Katarn?
Jesus Christ. I haven't read this thoroughly, but this goof tech synth is a fucking adventure.
Okay.
Should we start with mine and then move on to your goofy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because mine's going to end up being kind of long because I want it to end at a good ending.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it to it.
Mine's I hit more a couple times, so it's got a little bit of girth to it, but it's not too long.
I like that.
All right, here we go. You will never win, Goofy. The dark side is a fickle ally. Qui-Gon could barely hear his own voice over the clash of their sabers. John watched as Goofy's aura flared until it was the size of a small tree. Goofy has become the most powerful opponent I've ever faced, Qui-Gon screamed as his head began to glow with white fire. The blast of light was accompanied by a roar, and the scythe dagger-like spear went flying towards Jown. Qui-Gon, the dark side energy, was making contact with the shield he'd put around himself. A faint crackling sound escaped his throat as the blade pierced the shield from below. He felt it break off of his head. He heard another crackling sound and came to once again, to take hold of Qui-Gon's blade with his thumb. The black light seemed to heat up even more, and he felt Qui-Gon's blood drip. He had no idea what was causing him to feel pain. He felt warm. I won, John declared. He didn't even look at the green-haired man as he swung his scythe dagger. The green glow grew brighter, and the scythe dagger started spinning to the left as it swung towards the light pillar surrounding them. The dark side has fallen, Qui-Gon yelled, and his body grew pale. The light and red glow around his aura died down, and he could now see through his pale skin. It was night. Well, that's it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Wow.
That was pretty cool, I guess.
That was awesome. That's what I wish my Jown Goofy thing would have ended up
You didn't
as.
like the description of a weapon as the scythe dagger-like spear?
Yeah, dude, I loved it. It was beautiful.
Reaction-packed.
It was, dude.
Well, I've heard a lot of green hair so far. That has to be like
There's a lot of green hair.
Yeah. The green-haired man.
So I tried doing one with Jown and George G. Geef, but it focused on Jown a little too much, and the Geef was out of there pretty quick. So I did a new prompt that's just Geef-centric. The prompt is,
Whoa.
am I George G. Geef or am I Dippy Dog? Asked Goofy in midst of his existential crisis. So then it continues from there. So we'll start there, and I'll keep going. So, am I George G. Geef or am I Dippy Dog? Asked Goofy in midst of his existential crisis. It seems like I'm a Dippy Dog, said Goofy in response to a question as to what was the only way to cure him of his existential crisis. Well, I'll be the next Goofy. Later in the show, when Goofy and his family tried to leave, and he began to tell the kids they would be better off without them, I wish I had taken a different route, said Goofy, in a raspy monotone. I'd have taken a different time, and I would have left you with a better life. It's only natural. In the show, when his mother was attacked, Goofy, dressed as a ghost of her mother's body, to protect her. and disguised as her ghost, came down the path to his mother's house. When his mother started to open her door to run to rescue him, Goofy attacked her. "You can't beat me when I'm dressed as your mother," said Goofy.
Whoa.
But then he tried to explain that he wasn't dressed as his mother. "You're going to need that new costume to get my message across. I could smell a little bit of 'you are my mom.'"
What the hell's happening?
No.
I could smell a little bit of "you're my mom."
You're my mom. Now it switches to two people talking. One person's name is Goop, Goopp,
Hell yeah.
and the other one's name is Gorton. So Goop says,
Gorton.
Goop and Gorton. Dude. So Goop says, "I was always looking for some way to kill a villain, and I couldn't get around that because every time I do a new villain, they always turn out to be a pretty horrible guy." Gorton says,
Yes.
"He was an amazing guest star. All the actors in Goonies, the movie, loved watching him."
What?
And this is Goonies exclamation point, the movie.
Okay.
That's what it says. "Loved watching him. Even though at first he looked like he was a guy who liked drinking, he did a lot of drinking, and I love to talk about this because he did a lot of drinking during his life, and then he would come back later and eat more fish and fish and fish, and he would make a lot of jokes, which is really funny."
Okay.
We have an old joke about that, though, which is when you go to a movie with George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio, and you're eating a whole burrito, and you look at them, and you look at their faces. They have these weird smiles on their faces, so you know they're friends of your mother. And then they're eating a burrito, and they look at each other, and their eyes go wide, and they make a big, loud fart. It made me laugh a lot, and I'm sure it was pretty funny. I thought they were really funny. Dances with Monsters was kind of the first time I got to work with Robert Zemeckis, because at that time it was pretty difficult for people to go out and work with him, given that he was a giant movie titan. Gorton says, "And when I was hired, I was just sort of thinking, what am I going to do? He had been directing movies as long as I can remember. I had no idea I was going to get into one of these huge, massive movies. When you look back on your days with Robert Zemeckis, what do you think about you and your days in the 70s? Gorton: "I think my most honest memory is of the day they hired me to direct the first live-action monster movie, where I was very nervous, and we had an early screening session, and everything was going great, and we were doing a great job. It was the first live-action monster movie I had ever directed. And when we finally were shooting the first take, we were filming in a very small studio. We were shooting in a very small warehouse. And this guy, Robert J. Taylor, came by and said, 'Did you see the take I did?' I looked at him and I said, 'I don't know if you saw the picture I did. I don't know if you saw it.' He said, 'Don't worry about it. We're still working on it.' And then he said, 'Do you remember what you did last night, right? Did you do a wonderful job?' It felt like such a shock to me then. I just remember being really, really nervous and just going, okay. What was it like to get such a big part of a project like The Amazing Spider-Man?" Gorton: "It was awesome. It's the greatest job in the world. Every day I want to make movies, and I do. But there's no question that when it comes to a project like this and all the people I work with, it's such a privilege."
Is that it? Oh my god,
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I know.
Can you post that in Discord, please?
Yeah.
That whole George Clooney thing, oh my god. I was crying.
Yeah, George Clooney, and who was the other person? Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Eating burritos?
Eating burritos, looking at
burritos.
you with these weird smiles, and then looking at each other, their eyes going wide, and both farting at the same time.
Big loud fart.
It sounds like somebody's describing a fever dream when he's talking about that. Like, yeah, I just saw these guys in a movie theater that were watching TV and eating burritos, and then they looked at each other and farted. It's like a big, like, stream of consciousness kind of thing.
It's such a pivot from the weird Goofy thing, too. Like,
oh, man.
It also said that they're both dressed like your mom. I think it said that they're both dressed like your mom while this happens, too.
I think so, too.
Oh, my gosh.
That was amazing. That one was great.
The computer made its own OCs, Goop and Gorton.
Goop and Gorton.
Goop and Gorton. Yeah, went from this, like, weird Goofy thing to, like, an interview about working on movies. And
I really enjoyed that.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to have to end it there. We're going to come back with more Goop and Gorton. maybe continue that one. Let's see where these go. We got to see where these go. Okay. I hope you guys
with 2 P's.
Goop.
I hope you're enjoying Lethal Alliance and some Goop and Gorton. We'll be back.